guys, it's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing a kind of very lazy match analysis in the sense that I want to talk about yesterday's game, cover some of the post-match quotes from players and manager, dive into some things of what we learned in this game, things that we can improve upon, what actually went wrong, do a little deep dive. I think it's a little bit of a therapy session as well for myself. If you don't watch this video, don't blame me, to be honest, but again, we can have a conversation. Leave all your thoughts, of course, in the comments down below. Kind of go through a bit of a therapy session and see what really went wrong for Barcelona and how things could have been turned around in multiple different scenarios as well. Before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get the 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's start off by taking a look at the post-match interviews and quotes from players and managers. Now, the main players selected for the post-match interviews were Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Frenkie de Jong. Of course, the second and fourth captain of the team, which I think was the correct move as well. Chucking a young player or a player who doesn't have experience to do these interviews would have been absolutely pathetic. But thank God the captains did step out there. Probably didn't want to do it, but at least they went out there and spoke to the media. So we do have some quotes. Firstly, coming in from ter Stegen, which I'm going to read off my phone. He came out first saying that this hurts. We feel like that we should have qualified through this game. It bothers me that VAR did not review the penalty call on Dembele. The decision is only made by one person. A lot would have changed if we played 11 versus 11 for the entire game. That's kind of been the main theme of basically all the interviews after the game, that they were really highlighting that red card. He said also ter Stegen, after the red card, PSG dominated us. We wanted to defend and try to counterattack. That wasn't possible with 10 players. The 4-1 score may not reflect it, but we had a great chance to qualify for the semifinals. We could no longer play in the same way after the red card, especially. So basically saying that, look, the game plan went out the window once that red card was received, and unfortunately we couldn't really cope with that, and that's, completely understandable. While you're watching the game as well, it was very difficult for Barcelona to make any changes whatsoever and adapt in any capacity whatsoever. Now, we do also have some quotes, of course, from de Jong. Just give me 1 second here to scroll, because this is not really in order, but de Jong came out saying that we tried, but we couldn't do it in the end. It is a strong blow. We were convinced that we were going to go through to the semifinals. He then asked, what grade do you give Barcelona what grade do you give to Barcelona in this version of the Champions League? De Jong said, I don't know, the grade doesn't matter. We faced challenges, of course, and it was sad. It's a strong blow. We were convinced of going through. There's no other choice but to get up and try again. This is what you expect if you play with 10 men in the Champions League. Again, very repetitive of what we've heard a lot from the previous capitulations, should I say, in the Champions League. Nothing really has changed too much in that regards. And again, these player interviews are going to be very, very quick. They're not really going to delve too much into it. De Jong ended up by saying that we're disappointed, but we're already focused on the Clásico. I mean, the fact that he says that, I think, is a good thing and a bad thing. I think also Koundé was speaking to the media very, very quickly. He came out saying the same thing, that we're, it is what it is. We're not focused on the Clásico. We don't want to take 2 steps down. We want to take 1 step down, then 1 step forward. Again, it's the right mentality. I would hope for that as a Barcelona fan. But again, all this stuff we're going to bounce back is a bit annoying, in my opinion. Now, finally, on the player side, also having quotes coming in from Ilkay Gundogan. Now, Gundogan came out saying that we're very disappointed. We felt like we had control of the match before the red card. This is the Champions League. No matter the opponent, it's impossible to come back if one of your players gets sent off. I think I deserved the penalty. I was running and he clearly blocked me. I told the referee that it was a penalty, and I got a yellow card for it instead. The feeling is definitely frustration. Everything was in our hands, but we gave it away to PSG as easily as possible. Again, Gundogan, since he's come in, has been really, not really criticized, but really highlighted on his strong critique and strong quotes post-match, of course, after the Clásico 2-1 back in October. He came out saying that, I felt no emotion in the dressing room, stuff like that. So he's always been very, very honest in his post-match quotes when he does speak, and I really do like that as a Barcelona fan. And again, he's absolutely spot on. Frustration and pre-red card, we were doing well, we were in the game, we felt like we dominated. After the red card, of course, everything turned to shite. Now let's get into the big dog, Xavi Hernandez, what he said after the game. A lot of interesting quotes from him. He firstly came out saying that I told the referee that he was very poor, that he was a disaster. We were solid in the Champions League. Notably, I would say we have to learn to control small details, and next year we will be back. And he was asked, will you try again with Barcelona next season? He said that Barcelona will try again. It's not important. Next year we will be back. So again, not really hinting about his future. So the red cards changed the entire tie. We were holding on well when we played 11 versus 11. The red card is overdone, and after that, the whole match changed. After the red card, I had doubts on substituting Pedri or Lamine Yamal, but we decided to keep Pedri to have more control. Hindsight, I still think, honestly, that's the correct decision. I think in that moment as well, Xavi did the right thing. Everyone's thinking at that point, you take off a forward, you sacrifice a forward. In the live stream, when I was watching the game, I was saying, look, I can see Xavi taking off De Jong. I can see him taking off Gundogan, Pedri, Lamine or Raphinha. I don't think he'll take off Lewandowski. He's going to be one of those midfield 3 or front 2. I think in the end, taking off one of the 4 was correct. I think Raphinha, scoring the goal is a bit more hyped to him. Even though Lamine Yamal thought was playing very, very well. When he saw Lamine Yamal get subbed off, he was very frustrated again. But that's a bit understandable. Xavi then continues on by saying that it doesn't matter how much we talk. The fact is that the red card ruined the match. I don't like to talk about referees, but we have to say it, and we cannot be silent. It's a real shame. The referee ruined all the hard work this season. I want to play 11 versus 11 and have a fair game. Again, he's not wrong. Giving the red card for that is too much. It's bad for football. So yeah, he's clearly saying that he does not agree with the red card in any way, shape, or form at this point. Based on his quotes, he came out even saying again that Araujo's red card is unnecessary and it ruins the tie. At this level, playing with 10 men is practically impossible. Before that, the tie was beautiful. In that moment, you ruin football. In the first leg, the referee could have sent off Raphinha, but the referee decided against it. The red card shown to me, of course, is my fault for his reaction on the touchline. We try to sit back and defend with 10 men, but that's not our strong suit. We had our chances to score even after that. He was then asked that Luis Enrique said that they would have won the game with Araujo in the without his red card, and that he hopes that he stays as the Barcelona manager. What's your response to that? And Xavi said no to both. So no, that Luis Enrique thinking that they would have won the game with Araujo. By the way, that's absolutely outrageous. And second of all, continue as a Barcelona manager as well. You can say what you want. You have to be unlucky with referees. Since I have been here, we were superior every time the whole entire 2 games over the course of 2 games where we played 11 versus 11. Barcelona were superior. Again, he's not wrong there. We had to keep on trying. We were facing PSG. They never won the Champions League, and they spent so much money on signings. It took City 7 years to win it. Next year, we'll go out there and we will compete again. We suffer from strange refereeing, to say the least. So again, Xavi, you could say bit of the deflection bin, but also he does have a fair point. Again, the red card, we'll talk about it, of course, in the next few seconds, changed absolutely everything, and that was the main highlight of Xavi's post-match press conference. Now, one of the things that the players and also the manager alluded to was that after the red card for Barcelona, we still had a few chances to, get back in this game and maybe even win the tie as well. And we have to highlight again the main story of this season, missing chances. We have here the first chance, of course, is from Lewandowski, pre-red card, so we'll let this one slide, so to speak. But again, point blank, and I think he put this over the bar as well. Not even on target, didn't even make Donnarumma work. This, I think, was the worst chance of the game that was missed, and if he scores that, you're into a Champions League semifinal, I think, in my opinion. Now, also, of course, following us being 3-1 down, we had the opportunity with Raphinha where he just puts it wide as well. That could have been a great goal-scoring opportunity. You had, of course, when we conceded 2-1, Gundogan going on the counterattack and hitting the post again, another chance created. You also had the Gundogan penalty shot, which, of course, Gundogan mentioned it was a penalty. I also think it was a penalty. Not only did Raphinha clip him, but also Marquinhos pushes him, and no VAR review for this penalty, unless that's not what I've seen when I was watching the game. There was no, VAR check, nothing like that. There was one, I believe, in the first half before like a corner kick or something, but nothing of the sort. And finally, the killer one, which again falls in the hands of Lewandowski. He is 3v1, 3v2. I think the second player really came in once Lewandowski kind of slowed down a bit. Look, you have Raphinha left absolutely wide open. Of course, Ferran Torres right beside you as well. We just laid off to him. He can get a great shot on target. What does Lewandowski do? He shoots himself, and it's blocked by the first defender, Marquinhos. So despite Barcelona going down the 10 men, despite Barcelona being under pressure, everything of the sort, we still created chances post red card, but yet again failed to convert any of them. Now, I know it's not the best way to, point fingers at people or individual players and decisions like that, but the main reason why Barcelona not really got knocked out, but lost this game in particular to Paris Saint-Germain was 2 individual mistakes from 2 Barcelona players. One, of course, Araujo with the red card. Whether it's a red card or not, it's again up to opinion. I think personally, bias Barcelona hat away. I personally would not give that a red card, but I understand someone giving that a red card. I would say, you know what? I understand his logic. I think it's really very much teetering on a yellow, a red as well. At that point, Araujo was suspended for the second leg anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered whatsoever. And of course, Lewandowski on those chances. You had the two chances, the one chance before the red card in the first half. You had the two chances in the second half, not converting any of them, not even getting any of them on target. Of course, one of the chances that I forgot to talk about was that shot from Lewandowski outside the box where he forces Donnarumma to make a save, but a very easy save nonetheless. Again, Lewandowski has been, before this game, the best striker in the world on recent form. He's been a killer in the box. 2024 Lewandowski has been unreal, but the one time we need him, the one time where I say he turns up in this game but never turns up again for the rest of the season, that was the moment for us. He didn't come to fruition, which again is unfortunate, but these are definitely the two main reasons why Barcelona suffered the defeat last night. While Lewandowski and Araujo are mainly at fault individually, there's also one aspect that also led to Barcelona's defeat, and that is that everyone knew it was going to happen. Look at the tweets from every single Barcelona fan, Instagram stories, Instagram reels, TikToks, threads, Tumblr, whatever. Look at everyone at halftime. We're cooked. We're cooked. We're going to crumble. We're going to ball it. Everyone knew that from the outside. Imagine how everyone's feeling in the inside. Again, the Montjuic, I think, let us down a little bit. Pre-game, warm-up, first 20 minutes, electric, exactly what we wanted. They showed up to perfection. But once Araujo's red card happened, not only did their heads drop, the players, the coaching staff, but also the fans as well. That let us down. Us fans knowing that there's no chance to make this, that we get out of this knockout. It's disappointing. I think the Dembele goal before halftime is pretty much what sealed the deal. But again, having that, European headache, that bottle, knowing that it was going to happen, possibly also led to it happening as well. Now, with a defeat does come lessons learned, and we did learn a few things after this game. Of course, in my opinion, if you agree or disagree or know any other point that I forgot to mention, of course, drop it down in the comments below. One of the first things I want to mention personally is that the veterans today didn't cost us. You could argue Rome, Anfield, Bayern, PSG in 2021, Man United, all these Eintracht Frankfurt. You could all say and have a strong case for the veterans being the issue. But last night, I don't think that was the case. Yes, De Jong held onto the ball a bit too much. Yes, his progression wasn't the best, but that's his gameplay. I think Frankie, since he came to Barcelona in 2019, never performed at a big European game. He's performed in Clásicos and Super Cups and Copa del Rey's and big games in Spain, but on the European level, never turned up. I think he played all right. I think it's a bit underwhelming, I think, because more so the result and how everyone's kind of honed in on him. And Ter Stegen as well. Okay, for the Raphinha goal, I can't really judge it myself if Ter Stegen could have done better with that. But before that goal and after that goal, Ter Stegen made a very, very important save, which you would think maybe a few years ago in different scenarios, he concedes those goals. Of course, the Mbappe chance in the first half, second half as well, there was two chances, especially on the counterattack, where they could have killed the game even earlier than the 90th minute. Stuff like that, where you see some of that improvement. Again, I don't think Ter Stegen had the best of games, for sure, but I think he definitely performed. I wouldn't definitely blame him on the result, and neither way would Frankie de Jong. Again, we were talking about who we blame. It's Araujo and Lewandowski, of course, in my opinion. Now, the second point that we learned is the good performances of Raphinha and Lamine Yamal. We have two absolutely brilliant wingers here. Again, a year ago, I was saying on this channel, Raphinha cannot play on the left wing to save his life. I think, honestly, a year ago, could have done better at the left wing than Raphinha. He's absolutely turned it around. He was sensational again. He played at right wing, left wing, and at left back in this game and put in one hell of a shift. Also, Lamine Yamal, for the 20 minutes that he ended up playing, he was sensational. We have a star there in the making. That's probably why we're not going to end up and sign Messi, unfortunately, at any given point, because we have an absolute gem. I think even Lamine Yamal came out after the game saying that there's always time for revenge in football. We will be back. So again, having that strong mentality as well at 16. We'll talk about that as well a little bit later on. Also very important. But again, I want to highlight their performance. I think their performance was absolutely fantastic. But one big lesson that we learned in this game, which I did mention a lot during the live watch along yesterday and the match review, is the midfield. I think Barcelona in this game lost the game from minute one due to losing the midfield battle. There's absolutely no ball winner there, which we lacked a lot. There was a bit of control in there with Gundogan and Pedri. This is why I think De Jong kind of had a poor game overall as well, because he's playing in a position that he's not used to, in a position that he can't really perform in at the highest level, quarterfinals of the Champions League in Europe. And here's the big problem. If we had either Christensen or Gavi in this game, we easily walk this game, in my opinion. Hell, even you could make an argument a bit for having Sergi Roberto available, things could have been different. Not having that midfield balance and losing the midfield battle so early on killed us. Yes, on paper, the midfield three of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, Yaya Emery does not look the best. Yes, but it's balanced and it's well put together. You have, of course, Vitinha in the pivot, the regista, distributing the ball, Fabian Ruiz as a ball carrier, Yaya Emery in the final third, creating chances and having that final ball. It's well balanced, and that midfield ran all over Gundogan, Pedri, and De Jong. Yes, individually, these three players are better than those three players 100%. And yes, this midfield three just maybe needed one more ball winner in there to make it elite. Absolutely. But on the night, it got absolutely turned over. And now you think back to that first game where Christensen scored the goal to win this game, but got a yellow card. Was it worth it? Sergio Roberto getting a yellow card. Was it worth it? Of course, Gavi injury. We knew about it a long time ago, so that wouldn't have helped, in any capacity whatsoever. But again, just having that actual natural pivot, maybe even, dare I say it, starting Romeo, would it have changed anything? Probably not. Listen, Romeo is shite. I'm kind of, I do want to apologize for even bringing that up, but having just a natural pivot in there would have changed the dynamics so much in our favor. And again, I think that losing that midfield battle from the get-go, I think, led to basically our capitulation. Now, of course, there's some bright things to take from it as well. Firstly, a bit of a bright side on the Araujo red card. He will learn from this, of course. He's the third captain of the club. Unless he jumps ships and goes to Bayern Munich, again, he's gonna be getting a lot of hate over the next few days for sure. Whether depends on his El Clasico performance. If he has a master class, he might regain some of the fans' confidence. But again, everyone's gonna be disappointed. You can see in the comment section on his Twitter and Instagram, people are saying to him, "Go back to Bayern Munich, go back to Uruguay. You're trash. You cost us." Blah blah blah. Of course, it's reactionary, and he probably understands that as one of the captains of the club. But it's gonna be a big turning point for him. Now he's had that big mistake in his career. Hopefully, it never happens to him again. Maybe next time 1v1 next season, the quarterfinals of the Champions League, he might do something different. Might let the player go, can see the goal, things like that. So he can definitely learn from this mistake. Of course, it was a mistake in the end, although live time I would say, you know what, not too bad, taking out the player. Whether Barca was going to score, missed her second save, there wasn't a sweat open as well, so it just would have been 1v1 with the goalkeeper, the net, and the player as well. But again, I think at the time, the tackle as well was 50-50. He did pretty well to make it a contestable challenge despite it being a clear goal scoring opportunity, but hopefully he does learn from this. And finally, I do want to mention, of course, the young players, not just Kubarsi and Lamine Yamal who are on your screen, but also all the young players who were involved. Hopefully, they will learn from this. We have a very young squad. Again, Gavi was watching this game in the stands. Alejandro Balde was watching this game in the stands. Of course, Gavi and Balde have had Eintracht Frankfurt. They'd had Manchester United lost as well, so they've kind of had a little bit of taste of defeat, but this one is really big, of course, at home in the quarterfinals of the Champions League as well. They're going to be visibly disappointed, but again, you're already seeing them on social media and them in the media saying that, look, we're going to bounce back from this. Again, it's good to have this at a young age as well. You have that sense of defeat. That way you have that sense of hunger and revenge. Don't just think, oh, we're Barcelona, sit down smoking and then have a great life. We're going to win no matter what. You got to have some of that hardship. Of course, I don't want them to have that hardship. It's better if they just win all of their careers, of course, but you can look at the positive side a little bit. Again, I think both players had great games as well in Lamine Yamal and Kubarsi. Kubarsi, his passing wasn't, top tier as we're used to, of course. He had a few misplaced passes, a few interceptions, but I think defensive-wise, still put in a great shift, kept Mbappe quiet. Mbappe over the two legs was stinky. He scored a rebound and a penalty. He was stinky, and that's because Paul Kubarsi had him on absolute lockdown, in my opinion. So again, despite the defeat, there's definitely some lessons to be taken from, but hopefully now all we can ask for is for these players to also take these lessons from it and apply them in the future. Now, just before I conclude on this video, I also want to mention something on the manager, Xavi Hernandez, and I do want to highlight my opinion on him during the two-legged games, and that it's not his fault. I think, honestly, Xavi, for the course of the 180 minutes between both games over the past week, coached them to absolute perfection. I mean, he picked both the right lineups in both games. We had no problems whatsoever. Of course, in the first game, maybe we could have started Christensen, but again, it worked out for him with the result. Played the right way, of course, keeping the ball, hitting on the counterattack, long balls over the top, being clinical in the final third as well. I think Xavi has nothing to blame whatsoever. I think the only thing you can really blame him for is getting the red card, but then again, with him being on the touchline, would that really have made any much of a difference when we're already down and out at this point? I think also substitutions were very good, despite the personnel maybe being in question, whether he took off Lamine Yamal or Pedri for Inigo, when he brought on Fermin Lopez and Joao Felix, taking off Frankie de Jong and stuff like that. At that point in the game, it was done. He had to take some risks, so fair enough to him. But I think, honestly speaking, I'm not saying that I'm going to go and beg Xavi to stay, nothing like that. I'm just judging him on the two games, 180 minutes of football, and I see nowhere whatsoever to criticize the manager. I think he coached the team to perfection. He did everything spot on in terms of his substitutions for all the games as well, including that first game and this game, tactical switches, lineup selection. It was all, I think, absolutely spot on. There was no controversial decision whatsoever. Everyone didn't complain about the lineup in Paris. No one complained about the lineup last night as well. Just came down to one situation, of course, the red card that led to everything falling through. So I want to make it very clear in this video that for me personally, I do not blame Xavi for basically anything in the 2 games. I think it comes down to more so the players, the mentality of the players as well, and also circumstances in regards to refereeing and, player individual mistakes that end up costing us the result. So overall, final thoughts on the result of a game against PSG. I just want to mention mainly that all you can really hope for is the team grows from this. And I sound like a freaking broken record, I understand that, but again, you have to have that hope. For me personally, Champions League wise, for Barcelona, I'm dead. I mean, I had the mindset now that I'll never see Barcelona win a Champions League again in my life. So if we do, I will be absolutely over the moon. Again, during the game, we all knew that Barcelona were going to capitulate. So when you have that mindset, the defeat isn't as bad. Of course, I'm gutted. I'm devastated. I'm very, very sad. But I'm not as sad I was for Rome and Bayern Munich, because those results sent me, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't doing YouTube at the time. Actually, I wasn't for Bayern. You saw my video at the park. If you're an OG fan, you know. That those games sent me into deep depression, where I'd sat in this corner here for a month or 2 on end, did not talk to no one, my parents, my brothers. I just ate and cried for a month or 2 straight. This game will not do that to me. I'm gonna have great time today, tomorrow, after tomorrow. I'm gonna be good. I've now grown up where I don't let Barcelona dictate my mood and my feeling. I just kind of feel sad in the moment, a couple hours, and I move on. And that's the reality of the players as well. Hopefully they feel the way I feel. Again, it's an important learning curve, especially for that young core, the likes of Koundé, Araujo, Pedri, Lamine Yamal, Kubarsi, and hopefully those veterans next season can take it on with them. Lewandowski, Koundé, Cancelo if he ends up staying, which again, he probably will. That's all you can really ask for at this point. I mean, again, we're still a young squad. I'm not expecting, no one had the expectations for Barcelona to reach the Champions League final. Again, the goal this season, before they started the season, we had to get to at least the quarterfinals, which we did. Yes, the draw was favorable. Yes, the draw gave us a lot of optimism on maybe doing something different, and the day we didn't. But again, the goal was to reach the quarterfinals, and we did. So all we can do now is build on that. Maybe next season you set the parameters even higher, and hopefully the team can achieve it. Again, the team is very, very different from the team of Rome and Anfield and Bayern. I mean, I guess you can say, change everything up, which to be honest, if the board did, I personally wouldn't be against it too much. If they sold basically 60% of the squad and brought in 60% new coming in, I wouldn't be, outraged about it. But again, it's something where you have to hope they grow from it. Again, especially that young core, the medium, core as well with, your Koundés. I think they're 25, 26 years old. They're Araujos as well. That's all you can really hope for at this point. Again, having this defeat when you suffered it in a big moment where you had a lot of hype, you won that first leg as well, doing the hard work, and then the easy work comes and you end up falling through. Having that experience to make sure that, look, no matter what, anything can happen. Again, Barcelona were saying we're going to go to war. It's going to be a big game. But low-key, everyone thought, we should be good. Even Frankie de Jong, when we talked about his interview, saying that, look, we had pretty much confidence that we're going to be in the semifinals, but now they know 100% the tie is never, ever, ever, ever over, and that's all we can hope for, is that they take this, learn from it, and of course, most importantly, like I already hinted in the video, implement it. So that was a match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and PSG in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like, subscribe down below, and also please in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts. I'll try my best for this video specifically to reply to every single comment on your guys' thoughts. Do you agree with me or disagree with me? Any points that I forgot to mention, any points that I did mention that you want to, agree with or rebuttal, anything like that. Let's get a conversation going, and let's, try to, help each other out during this difficult moment. Again, similar to the players, we gotta have to get over this as well. We got bloody El Clasico in about 2 days, so we gotta shape this over our head and keep on plowing forward. Again, before this game, the season was a failure. After this game, the season is still a failure, so we'll wait and see how things turn out. But again, make sure you subscribe, drop your comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.